Welcome to Alpha Theory. Consider this your spoiler warning. Is Varys working with the Night King? I know this might seem far-fetched at first, but once you start looking at the symbolism in Game of Thrones, the possibility of Varys working with the Night King could be true. What do we know about Varys? He was an actor, so what he says cannot be trusted. And we know he was mutilated by a second-rate sorcerer that comes off as a questionable servant of the Lord of Light. Varys claims to hate magic, but he does not seem to have a problem with dragons or anything else magical or mystical, so it is possible what he truly hates is not magic in general, but rather the Red God and the followers of the Lord of Light. The followers of R'hllor are the self-proclaimed enemies of the White Walkers, and due to Varys always coming off against the members of this religion, it is possible that it is hinting where his allegiances might actually be. Now, I raised the question, would the White Walkers be willing to work with people? We actually already know the answer, and that is yes. We know this because Craster from Craster's Keep gave the White Walkers his male children, which, just like Beric being brought back to life, it hinted at Jon Snow's resurrection. The whole point of Craster's Keep might hint that the White Walkers are working with another human, and that could be one of the bigger plot twists at the end of the story. After all, most great stories have one last kick in the nuts before they end. Something you don't see coming. But it makes sense all along. Of all the main and semi-main characters, Varys is the one most likely to be working with the White Walkers. Let us look at some symbolism that might connect Varys to the White Walkers, because let's face it, Game of Thrones loves symbolism, and it often foreshadows a lot of things in the story, such as when Tywin in Season 1 was gutting a stag, symbolizing what House Lannister was doing to the Baratheons. Varys is known as the Spider. Sure, spiders are often represented as being sneaky and setting traps for their prey, but what other symbolism do they hold in Game of Thrones? Well, the Night King was said to ride a giant spider. What if the symbolism for the Night King is just him working with Varys? Varys is known for his little birds. The Night King is often surrounded by birds. And what are Varys's birds? Well, they are children. And who created the White Walkers? Well, the children of the forest. Now, let us look at some quotes about Varys. But Varys always has ways of learning things that no man could know. He has some dark art, Ned. I swear it. This was Catelyn Stark talking to Ned. Is it possible they might have been overestimating his ability? But what if she was right? What if he is using dark arts? The Night King we know is a Greenseer, and if he is working with Varys, that would explain why Varys knows more than everyone else. Because let's be real, everyone has a spy network. So what makes Varys' spies superior? The reality is, they aren't. Most are just children and probably can't be trusted. Let's look at another quote. Sir Barristan once told me the rot in King Aerys' reign began with Varys. The eunuch should never have been pardoned. This was Stannis to Davos. If this is true, which Barristan and Stannis are two of the characters least likely to lie, then that would mean that Varys was never a Targaryen supporter if he was undermining them from the start. I think when taking into account all the symbolism and the untrustworthiness of Varys and the fact the Night King is willing to work with people, I think Varys makes the most likely suspect to be on their side. Now, in another video I plan on making soon, I plan on going over who I think the Night King might be. And no, I don't think it's Bran or Jon. Let me know if you think this theory that Varys is working with the Night King is possible. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe if you liked my theory and you would like to see more theory and review videos on Game of Thrones or other shows.